What's going on, everybody? You're watching The Diary of a Mad Black Cameraman. I am your host, Ron Diggity Downs.
And in 3, 2, 1. Alright, good. Thank you. 3, 2, 1. Wait, hold up, more up, hold up, more up, wait.
What is The Diary of a Mad Black Cameraman? I'm creating this show because I want to give myself an opportunity to take a step from being just behind the camera and get in front of the camera and start sharing some of my stories and some of my knowledge and things that I've been through in hopes of just inspiring and motivating the next person. This show actually, it comes from a conversation or just an idea from my friend Lionel. He would always come to me and just be like, yo, I know you be around all these celebrities. I know you're here shooting in Philly one day and then next day you might be in LA shooting with some company or whatever. Like, why don't you start talking about the stories and sharing the stuff that you've been through? And at the time, I didn't think much of it. I was just like, well, I'm a cameraman. I'm doing my job. I'm not really thinking about it in that perspective. In honor of him, I want to give myself the opportunity to start sharing the knowledge and be able to give back some of the information and things that I've learned over the years. And I'm not only going to be talking about photography and camera related stuff on this show. This is a platform that I want to use to be able to talk about real life issues and topics and things that are actually going on currently and how I'm getting through them, or something that I might have done that helped me and could potentially help somebody else. Before I can just go ahead and start talking about all these stories and sharing my opinions and telling you what I've been through and all that, I feel like I should at least tell you a little bit about me. I'm Ron Diggity Downs, originally from Omaha, Nebraska, 28-year-old filmmaker, director, photographer, editor, content creator, basketball player, anything and everything you want to call it. Went to the Art Institute of Philadelphia and graduated from there. After leaving there, I went to NYU to pursue my master's, but it got a little too expensive, so unfortunately I was not able to finish. And after that, I really just hit the ground running and went on to work with just so many different companies and people and brands and celebrities, and I literally have a story for almost every picture and everything that I've gone through. So I'm definitely going to get to it and be sharing a lot more with you guys. But first, let's just tackle what we're actually here for today. This episode is going to be about mental health and just taking care of yourself. 2020 has been a just very long, stressful, difficult, challenging year just for all of us. And as if a pandemic wasn't enough, two other major just life-changing things happened this year, just very super unexpectedly. On May 31st, I got a phone call and found out that my dad had a stroke. This isn't the first stroke he's had. This isn't the second stroke he's had. So just automatically knowing that and knowing my dad, oh, you had a stroke. You're gonna pull through. I'm gonna come out there and I'm gonna see you. He was in Nebraska at the time. I'm gonna come out there, I'm gonna see you, and we're gonna figure it out and everything's gonna be fine. I spoke with him that morning, the morning of May 31st. I was getting ready to go film a Black Lives Matter protest here in Franklin, New Jersey. I spoke with him that morning. I spoke with him while at the protest. He called me, he FaceTimed me when I was at the protest, and we talked for a little bit, and I showed him what was going on. He was like, yeah, keep going, because he knew what was happening with George Floyd, and he was happy that I was there. He wished he could be out there doing something like that. But little did I know that conversation that we had while at that protest would would be my last full conversation with my father. After having that conversation, he ended up having a seizure while in the hospital, and that seizure pretty much just left him essentially brain dead in a sense, and he was not able to speak or talk or do anything, and he fought for about 2 weeks, and after about 2 weeks, on June 12th, my father passed away. So many things about that situation just frustrates me. There's a lot of things that I don't understand. It's a fucking pandemic. Nobody can go into the hospital, him being alone. Everything happening with him. He's in Nebraska. I'm out here in New Jersey, so I have to stop what I'm doing and travel out there. And I'm trying to travel and also make myself available for the hospital if they're calling, if anything happens while I'm traveling. There's so many things within that it took a while for me to kind of process and accept and get over. And by the time I felt good enough and comfortable enough with that and accepting what happened with my father, 3 months later, on September 13th, my best friend Lionel was killed due to gun violence. And that's a lot. That's my father, my biggest inspiration, the reason why I'm here and doing what I do and picking up a camera and all of that. And then 3 months later, my best friend, somebody that I've created with and worked with and literally built up a production company with, was taken. And in the middle of all of that, I found out that I'm going to be a dad. That's a lot for somebody to process. That's a lot happening in 3 months. One thing that nobody teaches you about in life is death and how to deal with it and how to grieve. There's no rule book on grieving. There's no rule book on when this person dies, you're supposed to feel this way and you do it for this long, and that's just it. And for me, being still fairly young and trying to process all of this, I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to handle. I didn't know who to talk to. I didn't know how to start a conversation without breaking down and crying. And because I couldn't have that conversation without talking it, without crying and breaking down, I feel like I held it in, and I felt like I needed to be strong because everybody else around me was sad, or I just felt like I needed to be strong for whatever reason, or just show that I'm okay. And in reality, there's no reason for me to be trying to show that I'm okay to everybody else, because I'm not okay. And it's okay to not be okay. It's okay to cry. It's okay to let those emotions out. It's okay to feel what you feel and understand it and talk about it and get it off your chest. I feel like as men, we are told and groomed and raised to be you're a man, you're strong, you don't cry, you don't do this, you don't do that. But we as men, we go through things. We as men, we have feelings. We as men, we do have emotions. And one thing I've learned throughout this entire process is that it's not healthy to keep those things in. It's not healthy to have all of these emotions and just sit there and let them run crazy and go through your head just all day. I tried to hold it in. I tried to fight it. I tried to be that strong person, and ultimately that ended up hurting me more. I tried to be strong. I tried to work through it. I tried to shoot. I tried to take pictures because I just felt like, oh, I'm going to take pictures and it's going to keep my mind off everything. No. The best thing that you can do is go into it face first and just deal with it. Allow yourself to go through those emotions. Allow yourself to feel what you're feeling. You're gonna feel good one day, the next day you're not. One day you're gonna laugh because you're thinking about memories and fun times with them, and then a day later you might be crying because you're thinking about those same memories. It's okay to do that. Everybody's healing process is different, and it's going to be different. So I can't sit here and say what is right or what is wrong, but I can say what did work for me and some of the things that I did that helped me get through some of these times. When everything happened with my father, it was in Nebraska, and that's where I'm originally from, so we had to go back out there. And for me, going out there and being able to be with my mom and my sister and my cousins and my entire dad's side of the family, it was sad for us to have to be coming together during this time for these circumstances. Once we were all together and we got those initial cries out, being able to sit there and laugh and tell stories and reminisce and just be there for each other, that really helped me. While in Nebraska, we celebrated the 4th of July, which is actually my favorite holiday. So for me to be able to be back during one of my favorite holidays was actually, it's something that I haven't done and wasn't able to do for over like 10 years. So the fact that I was actually back and fireworks are legal, yeah, we went in. Another thing that helped me through this process is I actually taught myself, or I picked up a new hobby. I learned how to develop my own black and white film photography right at home. I purchased all of the equipment, I looked up all of the steps, and with some trial and error, I actually taught myself how to develop it. So it made me want to go out and just shoot pictures in black and white on my film cameras with no real intent or purpose, just taking pictures because I want to take pictures, and coming home and developing them, seeing how they came out. That was actually therapeutic for me. However, one of the biggest things that truly helped me and pushed me and motivated me to get through this and get through this time is finding out that I'm going to be a father, finding out that me and my girlfriend are expecting, and going through that entire process and going to see the baby for the first time and going and doing all the ultrasounds. It sucks because I couldn't go inside, or I can't do anything because of the pandemic, but just the excitement and the joy of bringing in a new life. And not only are we bringing in just a new life, a new baby, we are having a baby girl. In all honesty, this first episode is something that I've wanted to do for about 2 or 3 months now. But I wanted to be able to have this conversation and not break down and not get emotional or over emotional and not be able to finish this because I broke down too much. I knew that I needed to take time for myself and just process everything before trying to step in front and just portray an image or just talk about things. No, I wanted to make sure that I was okay within myself first. And once I made sure that I was okay, I I'm here. And the fact that I was able to set up all of this stuff today, and the fact that I'm sitting here and I'm finally having this conversation that I've wanted to have for about 2 or 3 months makes me feel lighter. It makes me feel better. This is something that helped me. There's so many stories that I could dive into and talk about with my dad and with Lionel, but I'm going to save those for other episodes, so make sure you come back and watch and look out for those. Thank you for watching this first episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope there was something within this that you can either relate to or you can take away from and just learn from it. I'm Ron Diggity Downs. I'm out. Okay, straight to it. I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm saying. Okay, that is a lot for.
No, you gotta come from around there.
I'm creating. I'm out getting all types of dry and shit. And it's funny because at the time, and it's damn, how many times are you gonna do this? And it's time for me to start telling my short.